episode.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Anne-Marie Mays, and I'm the owner and head trainer of the dog classroom. And I have Miss Amelia with me here, and we are going to start doing some podcasts for you. So what we really wanted to do is get information out there about different topics that we have clients asking us. So where we wanted to start with this first episode, and I'll let Amelia chime in a little bit as well. I'm going to start it just as I started the dog classroom. So I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback as to how I started the business. And then I'm going to let Amelia sort of chime in a little bit as to how she got involved. So I am a registered veterinary technician of 20 plus years. So this started my career, I would say, working with dogs. And I think I was about 10 years-ish being a technician. And then I was off on maternity leave with my kids. And then when I came back, there was a technician that had joined our staff. And she taught puppy school in the clinic that she worked in on the East Coast. So really got interested in that. And we started actually offering puppy classes at the clinic. So in noticing the difference with that, puppies that came to puppy school weren't stressed about coming because it was a good fun place, and it was a place that they didn't only get needles, right? So once that technician left and went back home, I continued the puppy school, and then talked to my boss, and we went into, I think at that point it was called Canine Learning. Was the first one I think that I did. And what it was is just the next level training classes, because everybody that did puppy school really liked the training methods. So, and they're like, okay, what can we do next? What can we do next? So that's sort of how everything started to launch, is just building on the different levels of classes, different behaviors, different challenges. And then that led to is I wanted to continue to offer different classes and build on it. And so then I opened my own business, the dog classroom. So that involved getting my own space and then starting to hire trainers, which is where Amelia comes into play. So actually, you know what? I'm going to let you jump in and just sort of say how you started with me, and then we can talk more about how we built together.
Okay. So I started back when it was, I think it was like, there was early learning and then there was canine learning or something, like there were two levels.
Yeah.
And I actually started with you because I had gone somewhere else, and I was not having a lot of success with the training methods. And I remember coming in and I thought I knew everything, and I knew very little in the grand scheme. And you had taught me basically just some really basic stuff about like leash walking and basically how to handle the dog that I had at the time, who was a big, strong bully breed dog. And then later on, I got a little rescue dog, and I came back for some reactive classes.
Okay.
And that was Ollie. And I think shortly after that, I got Stark, who's one of my current dogs. Yeah. And I think when I got him, I said, I want to train dogs. And I asked you if I could teach reactive class. And it was a little bit of like the Dunning-Kruger effect, where you think you know everything and you really know nothing. And you kind of politely were like, why don't you start watching, the canine learning class? And it was really soon after that, I think you had another apprentice trainer start, Mike, who hopefully will come on at some point.
Yeah.
And then the two of us, I think, were with you and we started what is now beginning with basics, which is like the core of our program. So that was sort of where I started. And then, over time once I apprenticed, and then I started teaching the classes, and then we started going to conferences, and then later on I ended up becoming certified as well. So 2018, I got my CPDT-KA, which is Certified Professional Dog Trainer Knowledge Assessed. And then I believe it was 2020, I got my CPDT-KSA, which is Knowledge and Skills Assessed.
Right. So just to back up a little bit with what Amelia said about the training classes, usually if I'm apprenticing trainers or having them come in, I find before you even deal with any type of behavioral issues, you need to understand how the dog learns, which actually we are going to do another podcast on that. But it's about understanding the training process and getting to know all the different personalities, because every dog is different. So if you ever had a trainer tell you that all dogs learn the same, they do not. Mm-hmm. They all learn differently. So you as a trainer has to be able to adjust your training style to help that particular dog and owner. So then what Amelia's saying is reactive classes. That was something that the dog classroom started to build as well, where we had these dogs that actually, I don't want to say couldn't attend classes, were uncomfortable and didn't do well in classes. So I started doing behavior consultations in teaching them different handling skills. And then what happened is these dogs needed to work around other dogs and didn't have those opportunities. So we created a class, which was the reactive dog class, which Amelia is referring to with Stark. So in with Amelia talking about the certification, okay, so some of my trainers are certified. It is encouraged. The tricky thing about dog training is it is not
regulated,
okay.
Which is a whole other episode.
Yeah.
Future topic.
Right. But basically what we're saying is in order to get this certification, you need to have quite a large variety of education in different topics. And
not necessarily. There's no educational requirement.
To me, the educational requirement is like studying, I guess.
Yeah, you have to be able to pass the test,
yeah,
which you probably can't do if you just come off the street and decide to train dogs.
Yeah.
Because there's the science behind it.
Yes. So now actually one of the different online companies is actually offering a course that you can take to, it's like a pre-course to doing the exam. As far as like helping you.
I don't know if I like that, because I don't think you should be able to just take one course and then pass the exam. But other topic.
Yeah, other topic. But I think it's about also just getting different levels of education and reading different authors, right? Yeah. Which you did. Yes. Which I did.
I actually started, I think before I started at the dog classroom, when I just had Pebbles, I read a book called The Culture Clash by Jean Donaldson.
Oh, yes.
And it's quite outdated now, but it's still
a classic.
It's a classic. Like there's some things in it that maybe don't apply today, but it was written in like 1990 or something. And it changed the way that I saw dogs and the way that I saw my relationship with my dogs. And that was sort of one of the things that was like a little light bulb moment for me.
Yeah, because basically it does talk about how dogs learn in the relationship, right? Yeah. So it tries to not just have them as they need to listen to us because we're the human. They describe the bond and so forth.
And basically just how they don't understand when, we're shouting things at them and they're going like, what is that? Like, I don't speak that language. I don't understand. And just the way that she described it as like this impact that they would have, like if you were a human and you were locked in, the alien spaceship or whatever example she used, and then you saw other humans, but you weren't allowed to communicate with them because it was seen as aggressive and bad, and then, bringing it back in to go, okay, well, you're not allowed to go, to the washroom and the toilet. That's bad. And they would yell at you. So you have to go where they want you to go, and you have to eat when they want you to eat, and just framing it as like, wow, that is a lot of things that we expect of our dogs that it just doesn't come naturally to them. So
right.
that was really eye-opening for me. I think as far as like developing my style as a trainer as well, like I think I still think of that a lot is, you know, when people have these expectations of their dogs, like is what you're asking, I guess, relevant to them, or is it fair to them, which is another.
So now Amelia's already starting into the next episode.
Yes, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you explain a little bit about how sort of you developed like the building and everything now, like how all that came to be.
Okay. So, as anybody has possibly tried in Thunder Bay to rent locations, I basically needed a wide open space of a minimal 1,000 square feet, which was hard to come by, extremely expensive. Yep. So I decided to put up a 2,000 square foot training space on my property on Hazelwood Drive, still in city limits. Have to tell everybody that. They think that they're heading out to the boonies, conservation area. So so we put up the building there, and basically what it turned into is when we cleared all the land, we had a bonus space of outdoor, right?
Yeah.
So
which is very nice.
Which is very nice. So I like to think we can basically offer everything there. The long driveway at the beginning was a bit of an issue with my family, husband especially, clearing snow and mowing the lawn. Now it's a prime opportunity to train reactive dogs and walking, because we can be going up and down that driveway without traffic.
Without traffic and without random dogs approaching on leash, and you can really sort of control the environment.
Yeah.
And then we also, like with the yard and everything, like with the agility training, it's fantastic because in the winter we do it inside, but in the summer, like, why not move it outside and work in the beautiful weather when we can? Yeah.
And it's, again, a fenced in area. What we've started doing too is walking and recall classes in the back 40.
Yeah.
Call it the back 40 property in the back. And then actually parkour is great back there.
Yeah. There's lots of like tree stumps to play on and things to go over. And Nuggy's found a few spots for under.
Yeah. She goes through the tree trunks. Yeah.
Yeah. So bridging off of that a little bit, just because it is an intro for our podcast and for people who maybe don't necessarily know us or maybe don't even live in Thunder Bay, why don't you share a little bit about your dogs?
Oh.
Because we're going to talk about them, so we might as well get to know them.
Yeah, that's true. Some pictures are happening up there on the screen.
Oh, right. Some of them are in there.
Some of them are in there, yeah. So I actually, at the present time, have 5 dogs. I always hesitate to say the number to watch the person's expression on their face. The smallest one, or we can go age-wise probably, Frolic is 8 years old, and she's a Border Collie Husky Cross. And then there's Alfie, and he's a Jack Russell Cross and loves to voice his opinion.
It's very loud.
Yeah, he's the agility parkour dog. And then we have Miss Tulip, who is a Chihuahua, and she's been really cool. And I have to say, this year I'm actually writing a little blurb about her for a newsletter. But this year,
my dog Holly on the screen.
There's Holly. She's come leaps and bounds, but anyway, it's just really cool to watch the personality develop. So she's really into people and dogs and going places, as to she wanted to come today.
Oh, there's Maui.
Yep, there's Maui. So Maui's next, and he's my standard poodle, first standard poodle I had, and he's entertaining in himself. Never had a dog with such a quirky personality. And then B, right?
Yeah.
Then I have B, and he's my youngest and smallest, and he's a miniature poodle, and he's like my shadow.
Yes.
So he's my little dude.
He hates everybody that isn't you. Well, no, he doesn't hate them.
No, he just would rather.
He would rather be with mom than anyone else.
Than anybody else. Yeah.
Yes.
So my class, I do classes with my own dogs. I obviously are big into hiking and walking, and they all have their own little part in the business, I would say. Especially Frolic. Actually, B's done quite a few consults with small dogs now.
Yeah.
B, Frolic, and Maui work with dogs that need to just see a calm dog that isn't going to stress them out. So that's where they're a part of that.
There's Alfie.
Yeah, there's Alfie. Just to touch on it a little bit is it's interesting
And
how
Frolic.
we are going to do another podcast on COVID,
Yes.
COVID dogs. But just to mention is with COVID happening, it pushed us, and I'm going to say more Amelia. Amelia to me is the IT techie person. So she's social media, Instagram. What else is there?
YouTube, TikTok, even though you hate it.
Yeah, we've tried to
there's my boy.
actually ban Amelia from TikTok. But
She didn't like my Shrek meme.
no,
There's Nuggy. That's my Nuggy.
yeah. So social media in itself has totally developed, right? Like it's just booming.
Yeah.
And then COVID also, we went online.
Yes.
So we started offering different seminars, reactive dog seminar, guarding seminar, dogs and babies. What else do we got? There was an adolescent one that
Yes.
Julie did with us that we hope she's going to be here.
Yes, we're gonna have Julia as a guest for sure because she has a lot of different knowledge. That,
So,
she can share.
yeah. So basically, and then now podcasts, here we come. So we're trying to do more online, and it's just about us trying to educate people how dogs learn.
Yeah, and I think too, just like you were saying with your dogs, they all have different personalities and different jobs and different, like we can even go into all those different things. They're all different breeds, and we have rescues. Like all three of my dogs are rescues technically from northern communities. And you have a mix, sort of. You have some rescues and some purebreds and different different types of breeds, like a poodle and a border collie are different dogs.
Yeah.
So the dogs that I have right now, I have Stark, who is well, he's not the oldest, but he was my first dog.
I always think he's the oldest, so that's my mistake there.
I believe he's 11 now.
So how old's Holly?
Holly would be 13.
Okay.
in
I just still
November.
see her as like 8 or 9.
She's very puppy-like. So I have Stark. He's he's a lot of things.
Yes, but you love him to death.
Oh, I love him so much. He is my baby. He is he's a little reactive. He's a little shy. He's a little anxious. He's a lot of things. He has some medical conditions.
But you love him for
He's
all
got
of
it.
it.
Yeah, he's got a bionic knee. Obviously, I would do anything for that dog. He's done agility. He's competed in agility. He's done a little bit of scent. He's done some tricks. He's got titles. He's got agility titles and trick titles and parkour titles. And he's done lots of different things despite all of his issues. He's a demo dog for reactive stuff sometimes, but he's not necessarily.
He's in the seminar.
He
for
is
sure.
in the seminar a lot, showing some of his moments that he's had.
Yeah.
And Holly,
Holly.
I got second, but she's older. I got her, I think, when she was about 3. And she's just an absolute sweetheart. She was a registered therapy dog. She did visits with, at the hospital and at different locations with people who like to visit with therapy dogs, the university students, the college students, those things. And she's also been a behavior consult dog for a lot of dogs who need a dog that will interact with them, but just, won't overwhelm them. She's a sweetheart. She's 13, but she acts like she's probably about 2.
Yeah.
And she's some kind of husky shepherd. She looks like a mini German shepherd, sort of. But she's very cute. She's all black. And then Nuggy.
Oh, here we go, Nuggy.
Nuggy. Nuggy is Nugget is her full name, which is just because she's small. She's a Chihuahua mix, also from a northern community, who actually was Anne-Marie's foster dog. And I just fell in love with her. And she is, she's also a lot of things, I think. She's interesting. She's quirky. She's the star of the resource guarding seminar because she's had some guarding issues. She has done a few consults with some smaller dogs. And she's fantastic. Like, she's my little hiking buddy. She goes off leash and she sticks right with me. And she's just a really good little companion dog. That's Holly, right?
But she's also quite the agility star now.
She is an agility star. So she actually has her first title.
Good.
She's got a title in agility. She does not have any trick titles or anything yet. We haven't done a lot of that because she was almost a bit of a COVID dog as well. Like, for most of her life, I guess.
Yeah.
But those are my 3 that you'll hear stories about. And I think they've all taken me different places with my training for sure. Like even just the different breeds and the different sizes, like doing agility with Stark has been really different than doing agility with Nuggie. And even just going for a walk, like going for a walk with Holly is a way different experience than going for a walk with Stark. And so I think those are some interesting stories that maybe we can get into in the future.
Well, I think it's all about learning from your dogs, and every dog is different, and training every dog is different.
Yeah. And I mean, the principles are all the same. The science isn't going to change, but there's certain things that work better with some dogs than others. And I think, we're getting a little bit into our next topic, so maybe we'll come back to that. So what are your goals for the podcast? What do you think? Anything you want to share?
I think in just saying again, it's just about educating, giving people, I like to say almost like aha moments. I want you to step back and think about it.
Yes.
And that's what I want people to do rather than taking things at face value. I want them to break it down and think about it.
I love that. I think for me, it's also the education piece. And I also want to get into topics that I think we get asked about a lot that aren't necessarily topics for classes. So like, we can, we have classes about how to teach your dog to greet nicely without jumping, how to teach your dog to walk on a leash. Like that to me it's done. We've got stuff for that. I think this is a good place where we can get into other things, like the hows and the whys and different topics that aren't necessarily good for a group class setting. And also things that, just like when I was starting out as baby trainer and I thought I knew everything, like things that people don't even know that they don't know. That's what I want to get into. So I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
All right. Should we wrap it up?
We should. We're done.
Okay. Thank you. Tune in for the next episode.